Welcome back. That spectacular fire that burned the Avalon Bay apartment complex along North Jersey's Gold Coast is still having a ripple effect 2 years later. Now that the owner of the Edgewater community has the go-ahead to rebuild, it's no longer just fire safety that's on people's minds. Sherry Karabin reports.
Thank you, Larry. Edgewater officials were initially concerned about the fire safety of the rebuilt units, but when Avalon Bay communities agreed to go above and beyond what's required by law, the debate turned to affordable housing. A massive 5-alarm fire rips through the Avalon at Edgewater complex, destroying one of 2 buildings within hours and displacing about 1,000 people. This after an unlicensed maintenance worker using a blowtorch accidentally ignites insulation in a wall. Though up to code, the building didn't have and wasn't legally required to have sprinklers in wall cavities and attics to help keep the flames from spreading. 2 years after the January 21, 2015 blaze, developer Avalon Bay Communities is moving forward with plans to rebuild the 240 units, promising to include fire safety provisions that go beyond what's required by law.
We are no longer doing a 13R system. We are now doing a 13 system. And the difference is that there are sprinklers throughout the property in interstitial spaces and attics. And we are also putting in masonry firewalls.
One thing that won't change, the use of lightweight wood frame construction. A number of elected officials have called for a moratorium on the practice in new multifamily developments because it's considered to be more flammable. Edgewater Fire Inspector Steve Curry told Jersey Matters his department is satisfied with the developer's proposal. However, Kevin Lawler, a spokesperson for Build with Strength, a coalition of architects, builders, engineers, policymakers, and emergency services personnel, isn't so sure. He says, quote, residents in these structures will never be truly safe until the New Jersey State Legislature improves the building codes to eliminate or significantly draw back the use of combustible wood and wood products.
I'm not sure what light wood construction actually means. That's your term. We're building out of stick or wood, as many other developers are doing for anything that is 4 stories or below. And we're doing that throughout the state of New Jersey and in many other jurisdictions in accordance with the code that's applicable in those places.
During a December 7th Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting, this resident asked members whether the new building would be safe.
Are any of the improvements that have been proposed and that are intended to be included in whatever's happening, would it have changed the outcome? Would it have slowed down the fire?
Yes. The answer is yes.
But in the end, it wasn't fire concerns that led to a heated debate. It was affordable housing. Officials want the developer to provide 30 affordable apartments to comply with the borough's ordinance on new market rate units. But Avalon Bay's senior vice president argues the project isn't new construction since they're not adding apartments. He also pointed out that the company doesn't need permission to build if they simply replicate the old structure, saying representatives came to the board because they wanted to amend portions of the site plan. While Avalon Bay would still have to comply with today's fire safety regulations, it's not required to go above and beyond as it's offering to do.
We are relying on existing variances. Those variances would apply whether they're with regard to density, use, or affordable housing. There are 4 units before the building burned down. There are 4 units today that are still maintained for affordable residents in the existing building that still remains. We did not, in any way during this interim period, not continue to comply with the 4 affordable units that existed previously.
But one attorney representing the board disagrees.
This should be viewed as new construction, and there's an ordinance on the books. You may disagree with the ordinance.
I don't, for the record.
You may think that it's illegal, in your words, but there's been no judicial determination it's illegal.
The building itself dates back many years. The initial 408-unit complex was under construction in 2000 when a fire tore through the property. The developer argues the 1998 approvals still apply, but a former council member says the borough should hold Avalon Bay communities to a higher standard.
So when I sit here and I listen to the applicants say, yeah, but, you know, we only had to do 4 before, it was granted, COA was in effect back then. Yes, we got those variances, yes. Yes, they did, but I'm sorry, the deal was very shady.
In the end, a compromise was reached. The board agreed to draw up a resolution containing Avalon Bay's proposed amendments, including fire safety, and the company will be allowed to seek any necessary permits to start building. However, no certificate of occupancy will be issued until the affordable housing dispute is resolved.
So now they've got their approval, but they can't do anything unless they take us to court, win, or turn around and say, hey, you know what, we're going to give them the affordable units. So we don't know, but at least the project's done, and we didn't want to lose the additional safety factors that we picked up with this approval. If we turned it down, they could have went and built what was there before. We couldn't make them do anything different.
As for whether a court battle is a given, Avalon Bay Community's senior vice president wouldn't say. One thing seems certain: the saga over the Avalon and Edgewater project isn't over. This is Karabin reporting for Jersey Matters.